I have known Harry for over 30 years and probably closer to 35. And Harry is a very special person. And in thinking of Harry, Harry didn't have a lot of hobbies other than watching baseball and playing a little softball. But the most important things to Harry were his family, his wife, Peggy, obviously, his son Nick, daughter Annie, and the grandkids who he loved dearly. Harry simply cared about family first and then his job, and a little baseball put in there along the side. And he had such a drive to create this uh, video cable studio. And Sue Jeskowitz and I had the opportunity to be part of the very first cable commission back when it was Metrovision. And we worked with several people, and it was kind of struggling and not going anywhere. And then we finally got the cable studio to be placed in the high school where I was principal. And Harry came on board, and he had a very good business doing videos, but he had a passion for cable TV that was second to none. And he just worked and worked and worked, and um, he's one of the most, I don't want to say persuasive, but he had me be president of the Cable Commission a lot longer than I really wanted to. Uh, but he was so passionate about it, I felt um, a need to stay part of it uh, until I finally retired from my position at principal of the high school. He he was just such a visionary as well. I mean, he was doing games, he was doing things that were so uh, dear to the heart. Like his kids were involved in Little League, and he had endless hours of videos of kids that I all knew because they went to Menomonee Falls High School, but he had them when they were in Little League at 8 or 9 years old, and he had their names, and he would, and when those kids were they were 8 or 9 when they were playing, and they were now seniors or in college, and he would run these videos on the cable access channel in Menomonee Falls, and people were just, mesmerized. I mean, and I would watch it simply because I'd like to see what a little kid. I had a real great student named Emily Husk, and she was editor of a newspaper. And I remember turning that thing on one night and just watching. All of a sudden, here's little Emily at 8 years old, sprinting down first base. And so it just brought back so many great things. And that's what he was. He was all about community, all about things. He kind of treated uh, his cable studio and his board like family. And he was just so dedicated to it and did such a phenomenal job. And um, he'll be hard as I'm speaking here to Chris. I'm sure he has found it difficult at times to keep up with what Harry did because very few people, in my mind, could do what he did because he gave everything to the cable commission. And his other passion was baseball. He loved those. He loved the Braves when he was a kid growing up in Milwaukee, and he loved the Brewers, and he loved going to games. And other than that, in his family, it was the cable studio. And I just think, and a cable access channel. He did so many things, and I would want to tell Peggy, Nick, and Annie, you had a great father. And I think one of the most significant things about Harry is I never heard Harry Stetzel swear, ever. No matter how angry he was, no matter how upset he was, I never heard him swear. He was a deeply religious guy, and he never swore, and I really respected him for that. But again, to Peggy, Nick, Annie, the grandkids, wonderful man, great person. He'll be dearly missed, but with the power of his video, we can all come back and see things. And he didn't do a lot of stuff on himself, but Harry did it. And as Karen Nelson eloquently said one time after he did one of her kids' weddings, she and her husband, Paul, called it the magic of Harry Stetzel. And that's how I like to, he was a magistical guy when it came to videos and the presentations and the organization of this cable studio, and he will not be forgotten.
I've known Harry for quite a long time and met him when I had an idea for a telethon. And of course, you couldn't put on an event like that without having someone who's got the background to film it, produce it, and present it for the television. And all of my contact with Harry from that time on, whenever it was a big project involving the school, whether the telethon or the scholarship house or anything else, Harry was always in. He always said he's can do, and he did. His commitment to this village through Little League, through the high school, through its various functions to this community in volunteer time is immeasurable. There are few people who come and go and pass these ways in this village who are irreplaceable. I could think of Jim Jeskowitz as one, but another one is Harry Stetzel. I could not envision where we are today and what we've accomplished in this village without Harry Stetzel.
I first got involved with him with the broadcasting of the Little League games. He would be shooting the first game of the season where all the parents came, and they would have a baseball player, and he would explain the game to the kids and the parents, and they would broadcast that opening day game every year. And then after that, Harry would shoot pictures of the games, the real games that were played. We didn't have an announcer for that, so Harry just put them on with the video, and the kids could say, "Hey, Dad, there I am," and look on TV, and he was proud. They could be proud of themselves because of that work. But that's how I met Harry, and he's been baseball all along. He played on local teams here in the Falls. He always went to Brewers games and got season tickets every year, and somehow or other they got spread all over the place. But he's Mr. Baseball as much as Bob Uecker is. So his first real love was his wife, and he really loved her, Peggy.
We are honoring Harry for his years of service to Falls Cable Access and all of the accomplishments and contributions that Harry has made for the last 28 years. On September 30th, 2004, Harry and Rick Recklitz and I came together and talked about producing a community show that would highlight events, issues, points of interest, contentious events or elections, matters of public interest. And we decided to call it Village Voices. That was, as I said, in 2004. We started out talking about such issues as numbered village board seats, Friends of Lime Kiln Park, MMSD, Sue Jeskowitz talking about the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, Wayne Hornick discussing the Historical Society, Marty Shallock and the Chamber of Commerce, Lois Olds and Mary Magnuson about environmental issues in the village, Jack Strawbridge and Patio Players, the Scholarship House, Main Street redevelopment, John Fellows and Lou Teets bringing information about that redevelopment, the 100th celebration of the library. We discussed referendums, village budgets, the comprehensive plan, police and fire department issues, the Big Pig gig, the bid district. Mr. Recklitz was reelected to the village board in 2007. Anna Rosinski was hired as the police chief. We talked about issues such as smoke-free Wisconsin legislation. The MS Society. Robin Turtenwald appeared on numerous shows about the MS walks and other current MS issues. Teen Court, the Rec Department, YMCA, Scholarship Foundation, the Booster Club. We had our 200th show with our current village president, Dave Glasgow. Lots of great shows, many high school students who trained on the cameras. It was a great communication tool, all under the leadership and guidance of Harry. Thank you, Harry, for Village Voices and all of the great programming you engineered to bring to our community. We are very grateful for your 28 years of service and the value you brought to Falls Cable Access and to the entire village of Menomonee Falls.
We would like to show our sympathy to Annie, Nick, Peggy, and the entire family of Harry Stetzel, our friend who we loved very much.
Peggy, we will always be here for you. No matter what you need to lean on friends, you need to lean on your kids, and those grandchildren will thrive under your tutelage. We love you, honey.
Well, Harry was a volunteer extraordinaire. No matter what you asked him to do, he was there. He jumped at an idea, and then he ran with it. My husband did the show, Remember Menomonee Falls, and I sort of helped him with that, but it was really Harry and he that did the production. And Harry was as proud of it, I think, as Jess was. And that is a future for us because we have our history now down in those videos. And Robin and I have tried to continue that since Jess passed away. And we have done a couple shows, but we plan on doing a couple more. And we have ideas, we just have to have the time.
And I've known Harry for about 25 years. And he was so anxious to get the Menomonee Falls parades on the video. And he and I worked together, and he always called me the weekend of the parade and said, I gotta have the lineup, I gotta have everybody in order. So we'd work together, and what he wanted to do was give back to the community, always. So anything he could tape, he did. Anything he could do to use his drone, he did. So he captured a lot for the community, and we have all those memories and all those tapes. We feel very lucky, and to me, he was a really close friend, and I will always treasure that and miss him greatly.
You know, when I think of Harry, I think of a man of integrity, a man who cared so much for our community and his friends.
Yes.
He was creative, he was generous, he was a wonderful man. And when I will think of Harry, I will have happy memories because he served not only his community, but he served his friends very well.
I'll tell you one cute story about Harry. Outside of his cable, he created a picnic down at the pond where I live. And we had a friend that was an older lady in a wheelchair. And he made lunch and took the lady in the wheelchair and myself, and we went down there, the three of us, and we watched the ducks on the pond, and we spent the afternoon together. And I have a picture of that. And I, too, will remember Harry for all the kindness he showed people. Yes,
I'll tell a cute story too. Harry did the retirement video for my husband's retirement, and he did the video for his funeral also, and that was in friendship. But when he did it for the retirement party, he finished it about 10 minutes before we had to present it. And we all know that was Harry. We knew he was going to get it done. It just kind of was at the last minute. But that was what was charming and endearing also. I guess Robin and I could probably end this with saying, Harry has left footprints on our hearts. We will remember him with happy memories.
Always, always.